Hello, and welcome to another installment of Because You Asked, presented by ServingIntel. Today, I'm joined by Nicole Wang, who is our ServingIntel Partner Portal subject matter expert, as well as being our Director of Procurement. And for those of you who don't know, the ServingIntel Partner Portal is a way for our partners to access our customer relationship management software that we use to track all of our partner accounts. We use this to track all of our partner accounts, everything from new installation to ongoing service requests, and essentially everything in between. The reason that we have Nicole here today is to give us a tour of the new partner portal. This portal was just recently introduced and is a phenomenal tool for our partners to keep their finger on the pulse of their partnership with ServingIntel. So without further ado, I'm pleased to introduce Nicole Wang, who's going to tell us a little bit about herself and get us started on our discussion for the ServingIntel partner portal. Nicole?
Thank you for the introduction, Brian, and I'm really glad to be here. It's not often that I get a chance with my role to interact in this way. So my role here, like Brian said, as the procurement lead, is to make sure that we're able to place orders and get them shipped in a timely manner, and working with all of our vendors to provide support to our partners. So that's who I am.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Nicole. So we want to get started on this partner portal discussion. So I guess the best place to start is really, what is the partner portal? How can our partners access it? So let's just start with that. What is our partner portal and how do they access it?
Yes, thank you for asking, Brian. It's a really good question, and you really summed it up somewhat at the very beginning there with your introduction. It is an online resource for our partners to be able to submit new requests and or view specific requests that they have already submitted and work with our service team. So that's really what the partner portal is. We have several different ways in which partners can access our service team, though. Many of our partners already know, our main way of accessing our team is our 800 number. Calling the 800 number to reach our 24/7 support team is number one at the top of our list as how we offer them to be able to gain access to support. They also have the ability to email service@servingintel.com, and just go ahead and sending that email that will route to our support team as well to submit a request. So the partner portal is that third level of access. And the really nice thing about the partner portal, although we don't put it as high as calling our support team directly, it does offer the ability to not just submit tickets like an email does and interact back and forth with those specific ticket requests like an email does. It does allow partners to be able to pull up a service ticket or case, as you may know it, and look at what's happening within the interaction that's going on there, find out status, interact directly within the portal and specific tickets. Looking at closed tickets is also available as well.
Very cool, very cool. So now that we know what it is, how do our partners get into this awesome tool, and what can they do in there?
Right, absolutely. So why don't we get started? I'll show you a demonstration here of accessing the partner portal. And as you can see, I have a Google Chrome browser pulled up. A couple of things to talk through before we just jump right in and log in and take a look around is there are some requirements that are needed in order to log in. And so number one, the browser specific that is supported for this ServingIntel Partner Portal is Google Chrome. And so we want to point that out. Using a Google Chrome browser is essential. And then secondly, a Microsoft or Google account for the email address that you would use to log in. So logins are all driven by specific emails that are already in our customer contact information repository of our data. And as long as the email that you have on file, so what we communicate back and forth to you or for you today is that email address you want to be thinking about, and identify, does that email address tie to a Microsoft account or a Google account? It's real easy with Google. It would be a gmail.com address. And so if you know that your email address that's on file with us is through gmail.com, then that's a Google account. Microsoft is a little bit more broad than that. It could be just about anything, as long as the company that you work with or your organization is tied, has all of those email addresses tied to Microsoft. And so that's what you want to kind of put some attention to, is to understand what that email address has.
Sure.
If
Now, I was just curious, Nicole. I know a lot of our partners, with their organization, they, like you said, have self-hosted emails, or they may not have a Google or a Microsoft email. That is a requirement. So if they don't have one of those two, they do have to basically create another email address under a Google account. It would be probably the easiest way, and let us know of that, correct?
That would be correct, yes. So if you're aware that the email address that we have on file is not tied to either Microsoft or Google, creating one or getting access to one of those email addresses through Microsoft or Google, and then providing us with that contact information is really important.
Okay.
Once we have your contact information, your name, and the email address that you provide, it would automatically upload you into the system to have access to the ServingIntel portal, partner portal. So one last additional requirement would be the type of computer device that you're using. The Windows-based computer or an Android mobile phone or tablet is the supported type of a device for accessing the portal. As you notice, I did not say iOS device, as that's not a supported platform. This doesn't mean that an iOS device would not work. However, if you experience errors or issues in login or trying to navigate around, that could potentially be the issue. You can call our service team, and they can walk through a few settings on an iOS device that might be helpful, but for all intents and purposes, that is meant to be on a Windows-based computer or Android mobile phone or tablet.
All right. So if we have our correct email address logged with ServingIntel, we have a Microsoft or Google account more specifically, and if we're in our Google Chrome on our Microsoft device, what do we do next?
That's right. So let's just jump in here and take a look around. The next step is really about understanding what the URL is so that you can log in via that Google Chrome browser. So as you can see at the very top of my screen here, I have the URL posted. And you may remember that about a month ago, we sent out an FAQ for all of you on how to log into the partner portal. So that document is a PDF document that may be helpful to you as well. It's got the URL if you aren't able to remember what that was, but servingintel.myportallogin.com is where we want to go. And once you plug that information into the search of the browser, then it will go ahead and pull up the login screen here. So as you can see, it only gives you two options, Microsoft or Google. I'm going to go ahead and choose Microsoft because that's what I have access to here. So we'll just jump in and take a tour around of what we have. It'll ask you to pick an account. So my account here is the one tied to Microsoft. And it's also going to ask you for your specific login information for that account. So think whatever you log in when you're logging into Microsoft.
So that would be the actual email password. It's not going to be a specific password for ServingIntel. That's going to be your email password, just to be specific there.
That's correct.
Awesome.
Yeah, good point, Brian. ServingIntel does not manage the passwords here.
Mm-hmm.
We have nothing to do with that. So if there's a problem authenticating or using a password to log in at this level, it would not be contacting us to manage that password information. It would actually be contacting your provider, Microsoft or Google. You can always contact us and we can try and walk through what might be happening, but just know that if it's determined that it's the password, then they would ask you to contact your provider.
Okay.
So as you can see here, it's asking me to authenticate. And so some of you might have the question, well, I have a lot of staff and we'd all like to be able to access it using one email address, so like a universal email address.
Mhm.
We discourage using universal email addresses, especially because of this situation. It's going to ask you to authenticate there and to be able to give you access. With that, everyone would have to have authentication access to that email account, as well as the ability to interact that way with getting like the special two-factor authentication codes and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not that it can't be done. We do recommend that you actually have separate email addresses. As you can see here, as I'm logging in, it's asking me a question. It's asking me, which company do you want to access? Most of our partners will not see this question because you only have one company that you manage and operate under. But in some situations, such as our senior living partners, you may be overseeing a number of locations or sites. And in our database, we keep those separate based on how your operations are. And so in that situation where you've got your contact information listed as part of multiple locations, you'll see a list here. So all we have to do is choose the company that you want to access. But in most situations, most of you with just one company, it would just take you right into the portal. So I'm going to pick our test company here, and we can do anything we want within that.
Gotta love the sandbox.
Right. And once we log in, now we're looking at the information specifically for the company that I chose. So, we're looking at the information specifically for that single company that you log in under, if there's only one. This is our dashboard. It is a easy navigation tool to look at a catalog of features and information within the portal itself. So it's the dashboard just welcomes you to what you can do here. As you can see, there's a navigation panel on the left-hand side. Little house brings us back to the dashboard home. And then we've got a ticket icon for looking at tickets, as well as a Gantt chart icon for looking at projects. These navigation items on the left-hand side also relate to the catalog of items that are sitting right on the dashboard itself. The other thing we can do is obviously log out. So I'm just going to point out on the left-hand navigation pane at the very, very bottom left corner, you'll see your initials. And so all you have to do is click on the initials and choose log out when you're ready to be done.
That's pretty interesting. So it's a nice, clean, easy to navigate home screen there. Now that we've gotten logged in and see this home screen, so we can submit tickets, look up tickets, can you show us a little bit about that?
I sure can. So
Awesome,
submitting a ticket is very easy. Just click on the option for submitting a ticket, and we provide you with a number of options from there. The what kind of issue you're having is the question at the very top, and the options that are presented to you are designed to really get you to the most accurate resource available to answer that specific issue. And so we're just going to go ahead and choose one so you can see. We'll choose the contact account manager. At the very top of any one of the choices, it's going to give you a list of steps. So you can see here, we only have one step in contacting an account manager, but there could be multiple steps, and it will identify how far you have to progress in order to do so. We've identified some key fields here. As you can see, the fields, some of them automatically populate information for you or ask you a question so that you can toggle your response and or provide text to give a description of your response. Within each key set of information, there are required sets as well as those that are not required. So if it was a required field, you'll see the little asterisk, such as in this date for contact request, it's got an asterisk, but it's giving the date for you unless you need to change that. And then if you ever need help with identifying how to fill in that information, all you need to do is click on the little question mark bubble, and it'll give you some help text that provides some guidance. Okay, so it's as simple as to create a service request, filling out the fields that are listed on the screen for you once you enter that request type. And I'm going to go ahead and leave the date alone, and I'm going to click on a service issue and then give a description of what my need is. So just going to preface this with a test because it actually goes live to our account managers. If I had anything to attach to that, maybe I was working on some documents that our account manager needed and I needed to send those back, or maybe I have a picture of something I want them to see that has to do with my system. So I can go ahead and click attach and attach any documents that I need there, a PDF, Word documents, any Microsoft type documents, anything that you might have. And once you're done walking through the different fields and steps, if there was more than one step here, you'd see a next option. But in this case, we only had one step, so we'll go ahead and hit submit. And once we hit submit, that ticket is live on our service board. It's for all of our service team members to see. And as you can see here, it assigns a number specifically to that ticket. You can see it right from there. And it identifies the date and time by which that request was made, who the contact was. So in this case, I'm logged in, I'm making that request, and so it's got my name there. And then what the status is for the ticket, as well as the technician it's being assigned to. And in some instances, you might see unknown next to the technician name because it takes a little bit for our system or our team to identify, the best person in order to handle that need. But in most cases, we want to see that turnaround within just a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
You can also interact with the ticket by sending more information. Maybe you forgot to put something in the description as you were creating the request. And so all you have to do is go ahead and type in more information or include your attachment if you've got it and click send. And it will update that ticket real time and show you the threads of all the communication that went back and forth right here in the body of the ticket.
Very cool.
And as you can see, once we submit that request, the portal takes us right into the list view of looking at active service tickets. And you can see here, there's my ticket that I just created for that account manager contact request. It says new. And so if I needed to get back to it, all I have to do is click right on that line item and it'll take me right back. I can look at any other open cases that are sitting in the list as well. So I can click on what we have and take a look at what's there, interact with it. This is really great for maybe the dining manager or manager of the operations, because you'll be able to see every ticket that's entered for your specific company. So it doesn't matter if you, the manager, added the ticket or if someone else in your organization added it. It doesn't matter if you called that specific request in or if you sent it via email or the portal. We're looking at all those ticket requests all in one place here. You can also filter by status. And if we have any tickets that are no longer open but closed, maybe you want to go back to something you remember in the past, all you have to do is use the filter in the upper right-hand corner near the search bar and change the top field to closed, and all tickets or anything maybe just submitted by you is another way to search. Just choose all tickets and then hit apply. And once I do that, I see the entire list of closed tickets that have been in the past. They're no longer active, but you can go ahead and take a look there. You can't reopen them specifically here. You would have to just go ahead and submit a new ticket. And
my questions.
Yeah, a lot of people have that question. Can I just reopen it if I see that there's still an issue? No, we really need you to create a new ticket, because that helps us track how many times an instance of a certain service need happens. that helps our teams to understand what there needs to be done specifically on the side of the case or issue that you're having a recurring issue with. Maybe there's something that is uh, more important to be looking at if it's more than a one-time thing.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Now, let me ask you one thing, Nicole. When submitting a new ticket, let's say a partner has an emergency, should the partner portal be used for emergency tickets?
Great question, Brian. The portal specifically is not geared for emergencies or urgent situations. And if I can just speak into that just a little bit, we would ask that you actually call our 888-477-7711 number. It's really important that you get directly with a person on our service desk and work with them where you've got an urgent situation. Our portal tickets, and even in the situation of an email, these tickets are entered using our lowest level of impact.
Mhm.
We measure priority, as many of you may have read through our service agreement. We measure priority as the level of impact to your daily operations, as well as a few other things. And that is well defined in our service agreement. You can see our response time information on that document, as well as the levels of impact, low, medium, and high. So a portal ticket would come in at the low impact level. And so that's really why we need you, if you've got an urgent situation, an emergency, pick up the phone and call, and let us handle that situation with directly with our service team.
Okay, and you mentioned kind of follow up and resolution timeframes as kind of part of our service agreement. What can a partner expect, or what should they expect when as far as resolution time or even callback or contact time when submitting a ticket on the partner portal?
It's a very good question, Brian. So the partner portal submissions are no different than any other submission to our service team. Whether you're calling, emailing, or going through the portal, that service request as a ticket enters our service board with the same type of SLA or service level agreement structure as you see in our service agreement. And so when we're looking at the low impact, you can expect for low impact items for us to respond within at least 1 hour, provide a plan within 8 hours, and then work towards resolution within no more than 7 business days. So that's really our service agreement as it relates to tickets entering our board at a low impact level. That's what you would expect to understand. So within an hour, you should be seeing some type of interaction with that ticket, assignment specifically. Within an 8-hour period of time, we should have a plan working towards what's happening. You may have already received a phone call back or even an email or update to that ticket within that period of time from our service team.
Excellent, excellent. All right. That's great information. Our partners, I know, are going to love to be able to see and interact with their tickets, firsthand. I know coming from my old industry of the restaurant business, that would have helped me out in a lot of different situations. So are there any other things that we can explore in this partner portal?
Sure, I can just take you to how do I get directly to that lookups list, that view a ticket. Just that middle option on our dashboard is look up a ticket, or you can choose the ticket from the left-hand navigation pane. Either one of these work exactly the same. It gets you to that list view. And as you can see, it always comes up with what is currently open, active in the list. If for some reason you're looking here and you're like, I just want to create a ticket, but I don't want to go back to the dashboard, you've got that create a ticket option, and it'll take you right into the catalog of options there as well.
Excellent.
Simple and easy to navigate, not a whole lot going on, and
Simple, clean, but effective. That's
you.
something you like that we all like in the tools that we use. Excellent, excellent. Any other pointers or things that you would suggest for our partner portal?
Good point, Brian. As far as pointers go, if you are someone who has access to multiple company locations, as you saw at the very beginning, we had a screenshot of looking at choosing a company to work from. Once you make that company selection, everything you do within the portal is for that specific company. So if you need to access a different company, you actually have to log out. So I can just go through the log out again. It'll take you back to the login specific screen, sign
Mm-hmm.
back in. Once you've authenticated for a 24-hour period of time, I know our Microsoft will just automatically go ahead and sign you back in. And then you would want to go ahead and choose the different company you need to access now. So just know that specifically if you have access to multiple. Um, if you are someone who manages overall operations for your organization and you're wondering, do I have access to seeing everyone's tickets? Yes, you do. We set up everyone who is a contact record within our database with access to the partner portal. So the only way anyone would even know to go to the partner portal is if they knew what the URL is using a Google Chrome browser. So if any of your staff has access to that, then when you choose look up a ticket, you're going to be able to see whom added those tickets. And you can see that right from the contact information of the list when you're looking at a list view.
Yeah, so I mean, for our partners that have multiple locations or multiple businesses with us, it's a great way to view tickets in all of those businesses. Almost a true enterprise solution. You just have to log out to get back into the other company, which makes sense. We want to make sure that we're not getting tickets on the same ones or on the wrong sites there.
Exactly.
So yeah, all right, excellent. Well, Nicole, I really appreciate the tour. Thank you for that, explaining the ins and outs of the partner portal. And before we sign off, I just want to remind all of our viewers that while the partner portal is a phenomenal tool, it should not be used in case of emergency like we mentioned earlier. In cases of emergency service needed, please call 1-888-477-7711 to reach our 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365-day-a-year service desk. They're always there to support you in any of your needs. Once again, I'd like to thank Nicole Wang for joining us today on Because You Asked, presented by ServingIntel, to walk us through our phenomenal new partner portal. And folks, again, I appreciate all of you for tuning in on another Because You Asked from ServingIntel. We appreciate your partnership. Make it a great day.